Good afternoon. I'm good. Okay, come back. I think most of them have joined now. Okay, before some of them leave. So we were doing something basics. I will quickly recall some of them for you. Number one was the origin of Earth. Origin of Earth. You remember some of those names? Planetesimal model. Planetesimal model. We have the tidal theory. We have the interstellar dust hypothesis, nebular theory. We have the supernova theory, the Big Bang theory. Ye terms yaad hai? All of you, all the terms are fine, no problem. And which of those is more important for our understanding of Earth? Which of those are more important? Yes, nebular theory is more important. Nebular theory. And who gave nebular theory? Who gave nebular theory? One version was given by Kant, and Kant has made some mistake. Okay, he is the great grandfather of Amitabh Kant. Okay, so they are related. This man has Indian origin. Okay, so he is related to Lakshmi Kant. Okay, so we Indians are always looking out to taking some credit or the other. Rajinikanth, how could I forget Rajinikanth? Yes. So remember Kant. Okay, he is a very important gentleman. He has Indian origin. Okay, and another important contributor was Laplace. And any name which we can't relate to India is, क्या पता नहीं अजब सा नाम है, क्यों ऐसा नाम रखा था? Okay, so name which we can relate, he is ours. Okay, we immediately stake claim. Okay, so he is ours, ठीक है? And this, not impressed. एकदम बेकार सा नाम रखा हुआ है. Okay, he is. So nebular hypothesis is more important. Okay, so you understand this. Why is nebular hypothesis important? ये क्यों important है? Why? Why is it important? It's important because it is a theory that talks about the layers. Yes, it talks about layers. It talks about the density, a differentiation. That is why the nebular theory is important. What do you mean by differentiation? What do you mean by differentiation? It means a stratification. Yes, there is some kind of stratification. There are layers. The matter has got differentiated. Exactly. So because of these two concepts, the nebular hypothesis is more important for us to understand the internal structure of Earth. Okay? I think this is okay, all of you? All fine? Yes. Okay. So this is one thing that we are revising. The second thing, now do you understand the meaning of rocks and minerals? Is samajh mein aa raha hai? Guys, tell me honestly, have you seen those videos that we have shared with you? Okay, वो videos देखा आप लोगों ने? Minerals and rocks का? So I have a very detailed discussions on rocks in that. Okay, and did you make notes? Very important. Did you make notes, all of you? Did you make notes? If you have made the notes, share on the Telegram channel. Can you all do that? Can you all do that? Share on the Telegram channel. The summaries, or aapke summaries karo, please. Okay, please do it. Yes, yes. Good, very nice. Summarize, you will learn how to do things eventually. So rocks are what? Rocks are mechanical aggregates. Rocks are mechanical aggregates. Rocks do not have a definite chemical compositions. Okay, and rocks can be on the basis of origin. They can be igneous rocks, they can be sedimentary rocks, they can be metamorphic rocks. And you understand what are minerals? Minerals are compounds. Okay, minerals are naturally occurring. They are naturally occurring. Minerals are the building blocks of the rocks. Okay, they are compounds. They are naturally occurring. They are building blocks. Yes, because they're compounds. They have a definite composition. They have got definite properties. The chemical properties, the mechanical properties, the physical properties are very specific. They are unique. Yes, very important is They are also of inorganic origin. Okay, this is the general definition of minerals. They have crystalline structure, yes, and you know the rest. Okay, so minerals. Now, in terms of types of minerals, so minerals, okay, we can classify minerals in terms of their composition. So what type of composition, okay, we have? We can have sulfates, or we can have sulfides, we can have carbonates, we can have oxides, we can have halides, okay, we can also have pure metals, and we can have silicates, and we can have silicates. So these are some of the common groups of minerals. But which of these are more important for us? Which of these are more important for us? The silicates are more important. Why? Why are silicates more important for us? Because silicates are relatively more abundant in the upper layers. Yes. The silicate groups may. So in the silicate group of minerals, do you know the names now? You know the names of the group of silicate minerals? We have got quartz, we have feldspar, plagioclase and orthoclase, we have muscovite, biotite, amphibole, pyroxene and olivine. ये याद रहेगा आपको? You'll remember this, all of you? Quartz, feldspar, plagioclase, orthoclase, muscovite. No trick, बार-बार पढ़ो. किसी ने किया ना? Okay, क्या है? Kofpombapo. Prince Kofpombapo. Okay, Kofpombapo. Okay, if this sounds something like Mogambo to you, इससे अच्छा है यही याद कर लो यार. Instead of Kofpombapo, you better remember this sequence the way I'm telling you. Okay. Yes, you should talk to Dimple ma'am. Dimple ma'am is very good at this. Okay, excellent sense of how to relate things in memorization. You must ask her. She'll give you huge. She's like literally a supercomputer in terms of remembering some of that. Okay, Kofpombapo, you understand. Now, what is more important to us is, as you go down the list, what happens is it becomes more dense. It becomes more dark. It becomes more basic. It becomes more softer. Okay, as you go down the list, okay, it becomes more and more dense. It becomes more and more dark. It becomes more and more basic. It becomes more and more soft. Quartz is light and hard, whereas olivine is dense and soft. Okay, why Arun? ये why का कोई आंसर नहीं है. Why is that is how it is. Okay, that is how it is. Just remember, वही उसकी character है. ठीक है? Yeah, what's the confusion, Isha Garg? Tell me, what's the confusion? What's the confusion? Olivine is more explosive, less explosive, Isha. It is less. I will come to that afterwards. Abhi nahi. Olivine is less explosive because it's softer. Okay, as you go down. Okay, as you go down, what happens? It becomes more and more of fluid when molten. When molten. जब आप इसको melt करोगे, this is more thick. This is less thick. It is dense when it is a solid. But when you melt it, it will become more and more fluid. ठीक है? So ये सब recordings में है. ये सब recordings में go back and check. Magma is more explosive here. This magma is not explosive. It becomes less viscous. It becomes more fluid as we go down the list. Okay, can I move on from here? Can I move on from here? All good? All fine? Great, wonderful. Achha. By the way, one point to all of you. See, by the time Okay, last 30 minutes are left. Many of you start leaving the class. Why? कल मैंने देखा 25 of you left the class in last 30-40 minutes. Why? कहाँ जाना है? क्या करना है आपको? Okay, so if you are in the class, stay with the class completely till the class gets over. Okay, I have, मुझे सब दिखता है data. I have all data tracking with me. Okay, हाँ मैंने फोन करके तेरे बापू को बता देना है कि क्लास नहीं आ रहा है, कहीं और घूमने जा रहा है. ठीक है? So you will not. Oh, mess west time छोड़ो. Okay, खाना लेके चुपचाप पढ़ाई करो. Mess closes at 2 o'clock, Nisha says. फेविकॉल लगा के बैठो. Okay, get back here. So this you know. About igneous rocks. About igneous rocks. Do you all remember this box now? ये box याद है आपको? ये box is a very, very important box. Okay, more than 65%, 65 to 55%, 55 to 45%, less than 40%. This is the silica content. Okay, we have the extrusive rocks, we have the intrusive rocks. Okay, और यहाँ पर क्या आएगा? यहाँ पर क्या आएगा? R आएगा, G आएगा, R आएगा, G आएगा. ठीक है? Yesterday I was testing you guys, so आज mistake नहीं होगा. Today we'll have no mistakes. This is G, this is R. Okay, what will come here? This is A. And I said, you remember RG? RG बताया दोस्त है कोई. Okay, this is andesite. This is diorite. ADB है. Okay, we know who AD is. Now this I said is a secret. So we have basalt, okay, and we have gabbro. Okay, we'll not talk about what is K, du and P. Okay, all fine. Okay, ये देखो RGADB करा दिया. कमला पसंद, yes. This is कमला पसंद. ठीक है, कमला पसंद याद रहेगा. Okay, so intrusive rocks which are solidifying inside the earth, in the earth crust. Okay, okay, this is Rajnigandha. Oh, baap re baap, you guys are next level. Okay, this is Rajnigandha. ठीक है, इसका क्या नाम है? अजय देवगन. Okay, Ajay Devgan. Pura entire tobacco industry is here. Somebody must tell me what is BG now. Okay. BG का निकालो. Okay, पूरी movie रजनीगंधा, अजय देवगन, कमला पसंद. You cannot be wrong here. Okay. This is okay. This is बड़ा गुटका. Okay, बड़ा गुटका. Now you have completed the story. Okay, बड़ा गुटका, बीड़ी गुटका. बीड़ी गुटका is better. I like बीड़ी गुटका. Okay. ठीक है, अब तो your entire this is the source of, okay, this is the source of all mouth cancer. Okay, the igneous rocks हैं, okay, because of silica content in them, they are the source of all mouth cancer. ठीक है, so बीड़ी गुटका भी है, कमला पसंद है, अजय देवगन है, and रजनीगंधा. Okay, so I think, and I don't know. Okay, gutka, somebody is also saying ganja. Fine, okay. So I know your level of now commitment to geography now. Okay, rocks. Okay, so yaad kar lo, you will remember this. Ab nahi bhulna. Now don't forget. Okay, bidi, ganja. Okay, fine. So you understand this. Now you come towards the internal structure of Earth. So I said there are many models. There are many models, but the more contemporary ones, the more recent ones, we have one model of chemical layering and one model of mechanical layering. The chemical layering, we talked about the crust, we have talked about the mantle, and we were discussing the core. The crust is of two types, oceanic crust and the continental crust. Okay, the mantle, we have three layers, the outer and or the upper mantle. We have the middle mantle, we have the inner or the deep mantle. And the core is outer core and the inner core, which I will discuss today. So can you all recall this? Can you all recall this? No problem. I'll put a diagram to this. Okay, can I move on? Can I move on quickly? Upper mantle is same as outer mantle. Inner mantle is same as deep mantle. Same thing. Now I'm drawing a diagram for this. You can note this down. So we have this. We have this. Okay. So this is the continent. This is the ocean. This is the ocean. Ocean is basalt. Ocean is thin. Ocean is basic. The continent is thick. The continent is largely ferromagnesium silicates. It is mostly felsic, and the density about 2.5. Density here is 3.5. This is the upper mantle. This is the middle mantle. This is the lower mantle or the inner mantle or the deep mantle. The deep mantle ends approximately about 2900 kilometers. This is up to a depth of about 350, sorry, about the depth of around 700 to 900 kilometers from the surface, and the upper mantle is around 350 to 400. Some books might even write 500 kilometers. That's perfectly okay. And this is where the core starts. This is the outer core up to a depth of 4800, again measured from the surface. And this is the inner core. Okay, is this diagram good, all of you? Is this diagram good? Why the density difference? That is because of the nebular accretion. That is because of the type of nebular process in how the layers were formed. Gargi. Is olivine the only reason? Yes, yes. The property of the upper mantle, very specifically, जो upper mantle है, upper mantle is rich in olivine, and therefore has a unique property. It has unique property. It has a very unique condition, which we have called as a semi-molten property. Okay, if you apply pressure, it starts to flow. It starts to flow. Whereas the middle mantle and the inner mantle, what type of minerals we have here? The mantle minerals, kya? He remembers some names. We talked about perovskite. We have talked about spinel. We have talked about garnet. These are the common minerals of the middle and the inner mantle. Yaad aa raha hai aapko? Okay, and continents, we have talked about the ferromagnesium silicates. They are felsic and they have lesser density. Is the diagram copied, all of you? Is this done? Is this done? No problem. Any questions? Any doubts in this? See, I'll take the first 15-20 minutes to quickly revise some of the concepts I've taught earlier. Yes, yes. See, these layers are not perfectly straight lines. Ye approximations hai. The fact is, the layer is not a smooth circle. there will be irregularities. That's why we use a range of 700, 900 kilometers. That's perfectly okay, no problem. Yes, felsic are also non-ferro. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Felsic, oh, yeah, good thing. It is non-ferro-magnesium silicates, correct. Not ferro-magnesium, non-ferro. So felsic is non-ferro-magnesium silicates. So we're talking about quartz and plagioclase, the orthoclase. Yes. There's a name, Ahmadaza. There's a name. Mafic jo bolte hain. Mafic, the term mafic is essentially the ferromagnesium silicates, which includes amphibole, pyroxene, and olivine. But olivine jo hai, it is found in the mantle. Remember this. That's all. Nothing more to. I think this is done. I'm moving on now. Okay. So that was quick revision. Now come towards the core. So core has two layers. It has the outer core and the inner core. These have the highest density, okay, which is more than 11.5. Okay, it can increase to 13 also. So 11, and the abundance, the core has abundance of iron and nickel. The core has abundance of iron and nickel. Yes, it's very hot. It is very hot. Temperatures can be more than 3,000 to 5,000 degrees centigrade. It's very, very hot. High temperatures, more than 3. I'll talk about temperatures separately. It's very, very hot. This is in general. Now, ये जो outer core है, the outer core in particular is molten. It is molten because it has silicate impurities. Because it has silicate impurities along with iron and nickel. So I hope you know this. If there are impurities, the melting point will be less. Have you heard about this? Okay, as a salt if you put salt in ice, the melting point will reduce. Okay, so whenever you have got any impurities, the melting point is less. That is why it is molten. It's very hot and it is molten, outer core. Whereas the inner core, this is solid. Okay, so you have no non-science student background or those who have forgotten. Okay, you have to remember this, that the outer core has silicate impurities, because of which the melting point reduces, because of which the melting point is less. The inner core is solid. और ये जो arrangement where the outer core is fluid and the inner core is solid. This arrangement of the core and its conditions is responsible for geomagnetism. It is responsible for geomagnetism. Is it okay? Is this fine? Ye jo arrangement of the core and its condition is responsible for geomagnetism. You understand this term, geomagnetism? The earth behaves like a magnet. Yes, Arun, the inner core does not have silicate impurities. Now, don't ask me why. That's how it is. Okay, something like, sir, why is my brain in the head? Okay, for most of us, I hope it is in the head. Isme why nahi puchenge, we just remember it. So why do I eat through my mouth and not through my nose? That's how it is. We just accept it. Okay? So some body parts have their unique function. We don't question why. Some things are made for something, accept it. Okay, so वैसे ही inner core, accept it. It is solid. It has less impurities. इसमें why नहीं पूछना. Okay, that's how it is. ठीक है? No, उल्टा बोल रहे हो. उल्टा बोल रहे हो, vice versa. Because inner core is solid, outer core is a fluid. That is why Earth behaves like a geomagnet. That is why Earth behaves like a geomagnet. ठीक है? Okay, can I move on now? This is responsible for Earth behaving as a magnet. क्या लिखा है? मैंने कहा this arrangement of the core and its conditions, this arrangement of the core and its conditions is responsible for geomagnetism. Is responsible for geomagnetism. This arrangement of the core and its conditions is responsible for geomagnetism. No, 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 not pressure. Not pressure, Ankur. Ankur, you will not add any more concepts than what I am adding here. That's all. Second line after impurities. Okay, after impurities, क्या लिखा मैंने? ये वाला along with iron and nickel. It's molten. It has silicate impurities along with iron and nickel. Along with iron and nickel. ठीक है? No kashish. No. All rocks will not have organic origin. No. Okay. Coal has organic origin. Oil has organic origin. Limestone has organic origin. But not all rocks have organic origin. ठीक है? Inner core is solid. Inner core is solid. Inner core is purely iron and nickel. It's mostly iron. Inner core is mostly iron. Yes. ठीक है? Okay, we're moving on. Some questions I'm ignoring, Arun, not for now. ठीक है? Nothing to write about inner core. Inner core में क्या लिखोगे? Inner core is very inside. It is innermost. It is at the depth of beyond 4800 kilometers. It is a solid layer. It has more of iron and nickel. It does not have silicates like the outer layer. Therefore, it is not fluid. The arrangement of the solid inner core along with the molten outer core is responsible for Earth's geomagnetism. It is so deep that most of us can't reach there. Why it is solid? It is not because of the pressure and condensation, not because of the load. It is a natural property. It is a God gift. It is a divine rule. It probably can explain only by the nebular accretion process of Laplace. And until for now, we need not bother more about what is the composition beyond what we know right now. हो गया? ठीक है? So whatever I taught you till now, I have summarized it. The property of the inner core. Let's move on now. ठीक है? So now we are moving on towards the mechanical differentiation of the Earth's interiors. Mechanical differentiation of the Earth's interiors. So chemical differentiation mein, we have the crust, we have the mantle, we have the core. And what does it look like? Okay, what does this look like? Okay, it looks like this. So the outermost layer, okay, is continent. This is the ocean. This is the ocean. Ye hai, okay, upper mantle, middle mantle, inner mantle, outer core, and the inner core. This is the upper mantle, middle mantle, inner mantle, outer core, inner core. Okay, this is the chemical differentiation. Okay, this is the chemical differentiation. Okay, now come to mechanical इसमें क्या होगा? Some layers due to the type of composition and how they behave. Okay, they act as a single unit. Some layers due to the type of composition and how they behave, they act as a single unit. But think of our skin. Think of our skin. हमारा जो skin है, how many layers are you aware of our skin has? Are you aware? At the most elementary level, our skin has 3 layers. But are the 3 layers easy to remove? There's the upper layer, there's a middle layer. No. So for all practical purpose, can I say that the skin is 1 layer? Can I say that? Similarly, think of the wall. The wall has what all layers? The wall has a paint layer. Some of your walls may have POP layer. Some of you also have plaster. Can you remove the paint from the plaster easily? Can you remove the paint? Okay, and you cannot. So for all practical purpose, the paint, the POP and the plaster might act as 1 layer. Is it possible? It might act as 1 layer. Yes, exactly. So even if some layers are different, they act as 1 single layer. Okay, and therefore, even if they have different compositions, we take them together. So what happens is, even if the crust and the upper mantle are actually different, they actually are different, but they are so arranged that the crust and a part of the upper mantle, they act as 1 single unit. ये पूरा जो है, it acts as 1 single unit. And then what happens is, this acts as another unit. This acts as another unit. The middle mantle and the inner mantle, okay, they act as okay, another single unit. Okay, so rather than crust, upper mantle, middle mantle, inner mantle, this becomes 1 unit, this becomes 1 unit, this becomes 1 unit, and in some ways, even this acts as a single unit. This acts as a single unit. So how many layers now the earth has? This is 1 layer, 2nd layer, the 3rd layer, and the 4th layer. Ab theek hai? These layers, this is called as lithosphere. So what we have is, the crust plus the upper part of the upper mantle till 100 kilometers. This acts as 1 unit. This is called as the lithosphere. This is called as the lithosphere. It is crust plus upper part of the upper mantle up to 100 kilometers. This is 1 unit. Okay. Then we have okay, the remaining lower part of the upper mantle till 350 or 400 kilometers. This is called as the Asthenosphere. Guys, are you all writing as I speak? आप सब लिख रहे हो as I speak? The upper layer is what? Crust plus the upper part of the upper mantle up to 100 kilometers. Okay, asthenosphere is the remaining lower part of the upper mantle till 350-400 kilometers. Till 350-400 kilometers. This is called as the asthenosphere. Yaar, Rishabh, फिर वही पूछा from where? From your nose, from your eyes. Okay, from where your brain is, Rishabh, from where? Okay, कहां से नाप रहे हो? From the surface. कल ही तो बात किया हम लोगों ने. Come on. In general, the surface, this is a thick earth. Okay, this is almost negligible. It's almost negligible. Okay, so this is the asthenosphere. Then we have the rest of the mantle. The rest of the mantle. The rest of the mantle में क्या बचा? what is left in the rest of the mantle? What is left in the rest of the mantle? Rest mantle में का मतलब क्या है? The middle mantle plus the inner mantle. The middle and the inner mantle. Okay, this is called as the mesosphere. It's called as the mesosphere. And what is the rest? और क्या बचा आपका? इसके बाद क्या बचा? This is the core. Both the inner core and the outer core, they act as one unit. This is called as the barysphere. It's called as the barysphere. The mesosphere, the asthenosphere, the lithosphere, and the asthenosphere and the lithosphere. These are the 4 layers according to rigidity. Okay, so these are the 4 layers of Earth according to rigidity. According to rigidity. Okay, the asthenosphere, the lithosphere, okay, the mesosphere, and the barysphere. So barysphere is nothing but the core. Ho gaya? Okay, so that's lamb. Amandeep says this is the lamb. Okay, ठीक है, fine. No, asthenosphere में crust नहीं होगा ना? Okay, crust is part of lithosphere. Asthenosphere is different. Okay, lithosphere is having the crust, not asthenosphere. Not asthenosphere. Yes, and these two together sometimes are referred to the parosphere also. ये अलग-अलग names and don't bother about all the names. Okay. 4 layers of Earth according to rigidity. The 4 layers of Earth according to rigidity. In terms of hardness. What's the meaning of the word rigidity? This is in terms of relative hardness. It means in terms of relative hardness. Magma. What is magma? Is magma a layer, Rajiv? Is magma a layer? Magma क्या होता है? Magma is a molten rocks. तो magma तो कहीं भी हो सकता है ना? Magma can come from here. Magma can come from here. Magma can come from here. Magma is molten rocks. So it can be molten anywhere. Is Earth solid or liquid? अगर मैं एक आंसर पूछूंगा, is Earth solid or liquid? Solid. Are you, say, listen, Navya, are you solid or liquid? Navya, answer karo. Are you solid or liquid? Solid. But parts of you is liquid or not? Navya, parts of you is liquid or not? Yes. Your blood is liquid. Okay, your plasma is liquid. वैसे ही. Earth is solid. Parts of solid can parts of the earth is also molten. अब ठीक है? Okay. In fact, parts of us is also gas. ठीक है? So we have all the 3. ठीक है? But you are solid. एकदम solid, perfect. Okay, एकदम पंच तत्व. समझ गए? All of you? सब समझ में आ रहा है अभी? तो वैसे ही. Earth is solid. Earth is solid. But parts of Earth can also be molten. Okay. Kashish, in terms of behavior, they act as one unit. Okay. So parts of me is solid, parts of me is liquid, parts of me is gas. But all of this acts as one unit. Okay. Called whoever I am, whoever you are. Okay. So even if this is liquid, this is solid. जब action होता है, ये पूरा एक साथ act करता है. The whole thing acts as one unit. अब ठीक है? Is it okay, all of you? So magma is part of which layer? So magma is part of which layer? Magma is part of which layer? Yes. Magma can be part of any layer. Like it can be part of the lithosphere. It can be part of this. It can be part of this. But yes, we do not have evidences. We don't have evidences of magma coming from the core, उसके evidence नहीं है हमारे पास. No, Mayank, galat. Don't say that. Okay, don't say that. Okay, what we do not have evidence is magma coming from the core. So most of the magma that we have comes from, okay, mantle and above. We have deep source of magma. यहाँ से भी आ सकता है magma. It can come out as volcanism here. But we do not have examples of magma coming from the core. Don't ask me why. That is what I know. अब ठीक है? No, Himanshu. Do not say mainly asthenosphere. गलत हो जाएगा. No, don't say mainly asthenosphere. ठीक है? Magma solid. अरे magma solid नहीं होता ना. Magma is molten. वो solid बन सकता है. Okay, when it starts cooling. But magma is molten. Magma is liquid. Magma moves. Yes, magma moves. Can I move on? Can I move on? Okay, so if I compare the diagram, so diagram dekho aap please. Again, this is the continent. This is the ocean. This is the ocean. Okay, this is the upper mantle. This is the middle mantle, and so on. Okay, so what we have is, okay, till here. So if I take another color here, till here, yahan tak. Okay, this is the lithosphere. This is the lithosphere up to a depth of 100 kilometers. Okay, this is the asthenosphere. This is the asthenosphere. This is, okay, 350, 400 kilometers. Okay, so this is the asthenosphere. Okay, or this is what? This is the lower part. This is the lower part of the upper mantle. The lower part of upper mantle. Okay, and ये वाला part क्या है? What is this part? ये part क्या है? What is this part? What is this part? This is the upper part of the upper mantle. This is the upper part of the upper mantle. Yes, upper mantle. So mantle जो है, partly it is in the crust area, partly it is in the asthenosphere area. This is the most important difference. This is the most important difference. अब ठीक है? रोशनी, some things we accept. उसके आगे हम पूछते नहीं हैं. We accept it. It is not a part of geography, so we leave it. Roshni, your question is valid, but not in geography discussion. हम छोड़ देंगे. ठीक है? Okay. Is this okay, all of you? Is this okay? Is this fine? You have drawn this? You have drawn this? Okay. Now, one quick discussion here. Some discussion here. Discussion is that the lithosphere layer is not continuous. It is not continuous. Okay. The lithosphere is cold and brittle. The lithosphere is broken into segments, into pieces called plates. Into pieces called plates. The plates can be continental, can be continental, can be oceanic, or both. And the plates float over the semi-molten asthenosphere. लिखो ये points, please. Write down these points. I'm reading out for your benefit. मेरा तो work of art है. You're all lesser mortals. अभी आपकी maturity हुई नहीं है. So till the time you become mature, I'll help you. ठीक है? The lithosphere layer is not continuous. Lithosphere is cold and brittle. Lithosphere is broken into segments or pieces called as plates. The plates can be continental, oceanic, or both, and the plates float over the semi-molten asthenosphere. What does cold mean? Comparison ठंडा है और क्या? कोरोना नहीं है. Okay, cold है implying कोरोना नहीं है. You go down, it becomes hotter, it becomes warmer. Temperatures is more than 1,000, 5,000 degrees centigrade. That is why. Navya, I will not discuss anything about the core. Core is over. अभी ये लिखो आप. ठीक है? मुझे कोर के बारे में सुनना ही नहीं है. वो क्या है नहीं है. ठीक है? How plates on asthenosphere, Isha, how that is how God is, that is how earth is made. Accept it. आगे बढ़ो. Next. Anybody else? You have to accept it. Fifth is plates float over the semi-molten asthenosphere. The plates float over. Why they float? Because they are lighter. They have buoyancy. Okay. The asthenosphere is denser. इसीलिए they float. ठीक है? हर. Okay, फिर हर choice. How do you know the gender of the layers here? I really want to discuss with you. Anurag, how do you know the gender of the layer? कि layer हर है या his है? Okay, is it uncle or auntie? How do you know this? ठीक है? It is Mother Earth. Okay. So Mother Earth is a logical answer. ठीक है? Okay, fine. Ladies first. Okay, you can't understand. Ayush, good one. जो समझ में नहीं आता, you call it her. But that's a sexist joke. Okay, all the girls of the class will lynch you. Okay, it's a very, very sexist, a gender biased, it's a misogynist joke. Okay, but somewhere I agree. ठीक है? Okay. Can I move on? ये point लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? Lithosphere layer is not continuous. Lithosphere is cold and brittle. Lithosphere is broken into segments called as plates. The plates can be continental plates. The plate can be oceanic plate. The plate can be both. तो ये discussion जो है, I'll come back when I'm discussing plate tectonics. This is important for the modern theory called plate tectonics. I'll come to this afterward. Plate tectonics. ये हम बाद में बताएंगे आपको. The modern theory of plate tectonics. I'll come to this afterwards. For now, these facts you have to remember. Okay, lithosphere is not continuous. Lithosphere is cold and brittle. It is broken into plates. Plates, okay, are continental, oceanic, or both, and plates float over asthenosphere. Bhavna, you also agree with me. Okay, all done. Can I move on? Can I move on? Yes, good. Yes, great. Okay, so this is the mechanical layering. Now, some of the other models. So मैंने बताया था there are 3-4 models. They will not ask you those questions, but just for the sake of your understanding. So there are certain other models of Earth, other models of Earth's interiors. You just need to know some of the names. Okay, you must understand the examination is a competition. Or competition mein, it's always nice to have something more than what others can do. Okay, it's like a swamvar going on. Okay, the swamvar mein, okay, everybody has to put up the right type of impression. Whoever can do a bit more, like कोई bit more क्या था, कोई गुलाब का फूल ले आया. A bit more क्या था, किसी ने अपने biceps दिखा दिया. A bit more क्या था, किसी ने शायरी कर दी. Like a bit more, somebody is showing gymnastics. So a bit more is a very important one. Okay, so think of that. You are basically trying to impress the examiner. Examiner को आपको impress करना है. ठीक है, examiner को चक्कर में डालना है. तो चक्कर में कैसे डालोगे? How will you do that? By giving something extra. Chocolate दे दिया, आम दे दिया, पपीता दे दिया. Okay, no, these days we don't talk about आम and पपीता, we talk about kiwi. Kiwi दे दिया, passion fruit दे दिया. Okay, रसगुल्ला कौन बात करता है यार? Okay. Dragon fruit. Okay, so you need something more over what others know. ठीक है? So that other models में we have one is Edward Suess model. So Edward Suess, he said that there are 3 layers. There are 3 layers. We have the Sial layer. This is like the continents. He talked about the Sima layer, the oceans and the mantle, and he talked about knife. The knife is the core. The knife is the core. And he said the Sial is the lightest. The density of Sial is 2 to 3. The Sima is intermediate. Density of approximately 3 to 4.7. And the knife is the densest. It has a density of more than 5. This is the concept of Edward Suess. Okay, Earth is 3 layers: Sial, Sima, and a knife. The Sial is like the continents. This is the lightest layer. The Sima is the next layer, 3 to 4.7. Okay, he also gave us some numbers. He said the Sial is up to 300 kilometers. He said the Sima is up to 1,000 kilometers, up to 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers ka variations hai Sima mein. And the deepest part, these are the deeper parts beyond 2,000. This is the deeper parts beyond 2,000 kilometers. Okay, so just quick facts. This was Edward Suess idea. Likha aapne? Sial means what? Silicon and aluminium. Sima is what? Silicon and magnesium. Knife is what? Nickel and iron. Likha? All done? Edward Suess idea. Okay, I'm moving on. The second idea was that of Daly. Daly, and very similar to the ideas of Arthur Holmes. So what they talked about was, they talked about again 3 layers. They talked about the outer silicates. There are intermediate silicates, and there are inner silicates, and there are inner silicates layer. Okay, Daly and Arthur Holmes. Remember two names, that's all. Daly and Arthur Holmes. Okay, D-A-L-Y, Daly and Arthur Holmes. They talked about three layers: the outer silicates layer, the intermediate silicates layer, and the inner silicates layer. So outer silicates, they called as the grandiorite layer. Okay, as in it has a granite and diorite. It is grandiorite layer. The intermediate silicate, this is the amphibolite layer. Amphibolite layer. Remember the names: amphibolite layers. And the inner silicates, they called as the ecolgite and the peridotite layers. हाँ, ओल्ड कंसेप्ट्स हैं, लेकिन अमन थोड़ा बहुत जानना पड़ेगा. If you know, it's your brownie point, it's your edge over the others. Okay, good that we know our father's name, we know the grandfather's name. To impress करने के लिए, know your grandfather, great grandfather, and his grandfather, and you say you are from the line of Shivaji. Kam khadam, you are undefeatable now. Know the father, grandfather, great grandfather, and link him to Akbar the Great. हो गया. तो वैसे ही कुछ कर रहे हैं हम लोग. Okay, we are going couple of generations behind. Okay, and telling that okay, we know more than the others. Okay, Aurangzeb bola to he'll go to Pakistan, Utkarsh. Okay. So don't go to Pakistan. Don't say Aurangzeb. Say anything else. Ecolgite is one type of rocks. One type of rocks, one type of minerals, ecolgites. Okay, you don't have to know everything. No, मैंने तो आपको कुछ ही बताया है. Know some of the names. Ecolgite layers. Ecolgite layers. So Arthur Holmes said, ये जो outer silicates है, this is approximately 10 to 12 kilometers. This is approximately about 25 kilometers. 25 kilometers ka thickness, and this is beyond 25 kilometers. ठीक है? 10 to 12 kilometers, 20 से 25 kilometers, and beyond that it is ecolgites. Okay, ecolgites and pedotite. Soumya, he said he's from Ashoka's lineage. Chalo, ठीक है. So our Ashoka here is Arthur Holmes and Daly. Okay, the Ashoka of interior earth. Likh liya? All done? Can I move on? Can I move on? Okay. The third model that we have is the model of Van der Gracht. Van der Gracht's model. This is very close to our contemporary understanding. Our contemporary understanding. Okay, very close to our contemporary understanding. So what he says is that there are 4 layers. There are 4 layers. What are the 4 layers? The 4 layers includes the outer silicates. The next layer is the inner silicates. Then we have the mixed silicates, and then we have the inner layer, the inner metallic layer. 4 layer hai. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The outer silicates, the inner silicates, the mixed silicates, The mixed silicates, this is something like a transition zone. Transition zone, the mixed silicates and the inner silicates, inner metallic. ये जो mixed layer है, this is approximately from say 1,100 to 2,900 kilometers. This is almost synonymous to the deep mantle, almost the deep mantle layer hai, the mixed silicate layer. The inner silicate layer, this is from approximately about 60 kilometers to 1,100 kilometers. This corresponds to the upper and the middle mantle, the upper and the middle mantle. And the outer silicates is the upper 60 kilometers, almost the continental crust, almost the continental crust. Likho please. The outer silicates up to 60 kilometers. Okay, 60 kilometers, which is the almost synonymous to the continental crust. Then we have the inner silicates from 60 to 1,100 kilometers. This is the upper mantle and the middle mantle. The mixed silicates approximately from 1,100 to 2,900 kilometers. That is the deep mantle. And the inner mantle, this is the core. This is corresponding the core. Okay, the iron and the nickel layers, this is almost the core. Inner metallic layers. Likha aapne all of you? I said, ye jo layering hai, this is closest to our contemporary understanding. All done? All done? After 60 kilometers, this is almost the continental crust. Ye jo layer hai, there are 4 layers. This layer, this is the continental crust. This is the upper mantle. This is the middle and the deep mantle. This is the core. हो गया? अरे ऐसा भी क्या पढ़ा दिया अब्दुल कि बायो ब्रेक की जरूरत हो गई. Okay, एकदम टाइट हो गया आपका सिस्टम. इनर कोर ही तो पढ़ा रहे हैं, आउटर कोर हजम ही नहीं हुआ. वेंडर ग्रैट. ओके, आई थिंक ये नाम पढ़ के आपका बैंड बज गया. ओके, वॉट लग गई. वेंडर ग्रैट. ठीक है. मिडिल मैंटल इज मिक्स सिलिकेट्स. मिक्स सिलिकेट्स इज बोथ मिडिल एंड द डीप मैंटल, बोथ middle and the deep mantle. ठीक है आजम भाई. आजम इज ए बिग नेम इन यूपी. ओके, सो आजम से टक्कर न लेना. I don't know how is he keeping these days. ठीक है. नेम चेंज करवा देंगे, आमिर सोहेल. All done? Can I move on? Can I move on? What is 3, 4, 5, 6 months? It depends on आप किस बैच के स्टूडेंट हो. September batch? Are you October batch? Okay, are you November batch? Are you January batch? Are you foundation course? Are you integrated test series course? Do you want to give the examination this year or next year? It all depends on that. ठीक है? Okay, I'm moving on. Now, the condition of Earth's interiors. Condition of Earth's interiors. So one is the density density and the rigidity condition. Okay, understandable? The outer layers, the crust and the outer layers are solid. The asthenosphere is semi-molten. The mantle layers are dense and they are relatively softer. The dense and relatively softer. The core outer is fluid. The core inner, this is solid. Is it okay? Is it okay? The density and the rigidity conditions. The crust and the outer layers are solid. They are solid and they are brittle. They are solid and they are brittle. The asthenosphere is semi-molten. The mantle is dense and relatively soft. And the core, outer जो है fluid है, the inner is solid. Is it okay? Is it okay? लिख लिया आप लोगों ने? The conditions of Earth's interiors. Is it okay? The asthenosphere is semi-molten. It is semi-molten. Why? Because it has olivine. Olivine का property है, it is semi-molten. That is one discussion. The second discussion here is that the interiors of Earth also has mobile okay say mobile parts of molten magma, okay, that circulates in the mantle. Okay, interiors of Earth also has mobile parts of molten magma. Parts of Earth, I said, is molten, right? Okay, it's molten magma that circulates in the mantle. These circulations are called as, what are these called as? Anybody knows what is called as? They're called as convection currents. Convection currents of the mantle. They're called as convection currents. They're called as convection currents of the mantle. Yes, this concept was given by Arthur Holmes. The parts of the mantle is molten and it circulates. It's molten and it circulates. This concept was given by Arthur Holmes. Likha aapne? All done? All done? So it's something like this. So if this is the Earth, so think of these are the layers of the continents. We have the oceans, the continents, the oceans. So ऐसा सोचो ऐसा कुछ Earth है. Okay. Inside the Earth, this is the core. The core. What happens is in the mantle, there are convection cells. There are movements of magma like this. Okay. In some parts, the circulations are very shallow. They are at a very less depth. In some parts, they can come from a bit more deeper parts. ऐसे अंदर घूम रहा है. Some can come from deep mantle right up to the upper layers of the Earth. They are circulation. These are called as the convection cells of the Earth. They're called as the convection cells of the Earth. So think of these as the continents. So ये आपका crust है. This is the crust, the outer layer of the Earth. Okay, and the inner part of mantle. Okay, different parts of mantle are molten. They're called as convection cells. Okay, the inner part has convection cells. or convection currents of the mantle. The next fact, the next is the temperature conditions. Then we have the temperature conditions, the temperature conditions of the earth. Are you all with me? All maintaining pace with me? Okay. All maintaining pace. Likh pa rahe ho? Whatever I write on the board. Are you all able to jot down and write down? All keeping pace? Yes. Yes. Excellent. So temperature patterns mein, okay. So the upper parts up to, so points mein likho aap, up to the first 100 kilometers, temperature increases at the rate of okay 2 to 3 degrees centigrade per 100 meters. Up to the first 100 kilometers, the temperature increases at the rate of 2 to 3 degrees centigrade per 100 meters. Okay, क्या problem है? क्या miss कर रहे हो बताओ? The main heading is conditions of the earth interiors. So one is the density and the rigidity. The second is that we have convection currents where the mantle is dynamic circulation. The third is the temperature conditions. That's all. 3 discussions under the conditions of the earth's interiors. Array Arun. How do you measure? They use a thermometer. Okay, they send somebody inside, लगा के देख लेते हैं. ठीक है. So what methods? वो बाद में आएगा. First know the facts. See, you have to understand, you are not here as a geological scientist, okay? You're not here as a geological research scientist. आपको छोटा मोटा याद करके एग्जाम निकालना है. Anybody wants to become geographer here? Anybody wants to become geographer? Anybody wants to become a scholar here? Okay. Anybody wants to become a teacher? They all say, no, not a teacher. इसीलिए ज्यादा ब्रेन्स लगाना ही नहीं है. जो बता रहे हैं चुपचाप लिख लो. You will have time to ask questions which are relevant, but afterwards. Okay, come back here. So the first 100 kilometers, the temperature increases at the rate of 2 to 3 degrees centigrade per 100 meters. So now if you're asking me, sir, why is the lithosphere cold? Okay, I hope you understand. Cold or warm is a relative term, no? Okay, it's something like you're comparing. Yes. So when I say it's cold compared to what? Not your packet of ice, not your cold Coke. Cold compared to what? Cold compared to as you go deeper inside. Okay. So if I ask you a question, okay, what do you think? Is 500 degrees centigrade cold or hot? आप compare करोगे ना? This is cold compared to 5000 degrees centigrade. अब ठीक है? If 10 degrees centigrade, it's hot or cold? It's hot compared to minus 17 degrees centigrade. Okay? अब ठीक है? अब ठीक है all of you? Why am I saying lithosphere is cold? Okay? Because हम compare कर रहे हैं. I'm comparing with what? I'm comparing with the conditions, okay, in the deeper parts. So पहले 100 में ऐसा है. उसके बाद क्या है? Beyond 100 kilometers, the patterns are not uniform. The patterns are not uniform. They are not consistent patterns. Okay, locations of tectonic activities. Locations of tectonic activities have higher temperatures. Okay, so the temperatures can be 1000 to 1500 degrees centigrade. So beyond 100 kilometers, the patterns are not uniform. Okay, it can vary, but us variation mein some rules are areas which have tectonic activity. What do you mean by tectonic activity? Anybody? What do you mean by tectonic activity? Basically, where we have got mountains, building going on, where we have volcanism going on, where some movements are happening. Yes, those are areas of tectonic activities. Can you give me examples of some tectonic activities? So wherever we have got volcanic eruptions, wherever we have some kind of a rifting, Himalayas are examples of tectonic activities. Exactly. Wherever there is some kind of earthquakes happening, that's an area of tectonic activity. So jahan tectonic activities hai, the temperatures are higher there. They can be approximately 1000 to 1500 degrees centigrade. Similarly, asthenosphere is also at about 1000 to 1500 degrees centigrade. Asthenosphere is also pretty warm at 1000 to 1500 degrees centigrade. Okay, deeper mantle, the temperatures can be at about 2000 degrees centigrade. Asthenosphere में 1000 से 1500, tectonic areas में 1000 से 1500. Deeper mantle, the temperatures can be about 2000 degrees centigrade. Okay, at the core mantle boundary, the temperatures can be about 3000 degrees centigrade at the core mantle boundary. Anybody remembers iska kya depth hai? That's about 2900 kilometers. At the, okay, yes, 2900, 2800, 3000 kilometers. The temperatures can be about 3000 degree centigrade. And finally, if you're looking at the core, the temperatures can be approximately 4000 to 5000 degree centigrade. 4000, okay. ये kilometers पे 2900 kilometers depth पे the temperatures are 3000 degrees centigrade, whereas the core temperatures can be 4000 to 5000 degrees centigrade. Is it okay? Remember that nobody wants the exact value. We need the patterns here. So if they ask you on temperature, this is good enough. Isse zyada you will not require. Did you all write down these points? Did you write down these points, all of you? Clear? All done? So if I ask you a short note, how does it remain in solid? That's the property. Okay, so at that temperature, it does not melt. That's the property of those layers. Why high temperature? I'll come to that. Wait. Yes, 230 centigrade with every 100 meters depth. With every 100 meters. Yes, Mithun, correct. No, not the pressure. Pressure is not the reasons for that. And remember, all of these are some kind of approximations. These are some kind of approximations. Okay, one important discussion here. The source of heat kya hai? The source of heat in the interiors. The source of heat kya hai? The source of heat is radioactivity. We have got fission reactions. A lot of radioactive material inside the earth. So radioactivity is a source of, it's natural. It's source of the heat temperature. Okay, and at locations, Earth also has a residual heat. It also has a residual gravitational heat. Heat. Okay. While Earth cooled and solidified from the ancient nebula. These are the two sources of heat. Radioactivity is one. A lot of fission reactions going on. And Earth also has the residual gravitational heat. Because see, Earth was a nebula. These nebula are hot or cold. For Earth case, at least, the nebula was very hot. And then slowly it starts to shrink and condense. Slowly it starts to form the solid. In this formation, some amount of heat is also present, not entirely lost. Ancient. Ancient. In fact, the right word for this is primordial. So one of you has used this term. Primordial is something which is ancient, which is shapeless, amorphous. We use the term primordial. It is not shrinking. It is gravity collapse, bolte hain, Prince. Is a part of the universe formation. It's called as the gravity collapse. Ye kyun, why? Please, not in my scope of things. मैं छोटा सा आदमी हूँ, नन्हा सा आदमी हूँ, with not much of knowledge beyond what I can handle. ये इसके बाद you have to ask the bigger scholars. In India, one man has all answers to all questions of universe. You have to ask him. So see if you can get to him to answer. उनके पास सारा दुनिया का सारा answer है. Anything that you ask or any problem on the earth, he has answer to it. You find out who he is. Of course, एक और आदमी भी है. He is called as Swami Nityanand. He is another God's gift to mankind. Whenever you get bored, he is there to help you feel better. उनके अलावा ही बहुत सारे लोग हैं, but one man has answers to all solutions to your problems. ठीक है? So let's move on. The man whose name should not be taken. उसके बाद क्या होगा? I will end up in Pakistan. So I'll try to remain in the country, my beloved country, my mitti, my mother earth, my nation. I'll remain here. ठीक है? Can I move on? Can I move on? He who must not be named. Okay? Can I move on? All fine? Okay. So that is about the condition of the Earth's interiors. Okay. Now, some additional information. Okay. So the interiors have you can say layers that separate the distinct zones of the earth. They have layers that separate the distinct zones of the earth. Such layers are called discontinuities. Such layers are called discontinuities. Have you heard this term? Okay, some of you were jumping yesterday itself. मैंने कहा कि कंट्रोल करो यार, इतने जल्दी खेल नहीं खेलेंगे, धीरे धीरे खेलेंगे. ठीक है? So there are interiors, there are certain layers which separate the zones of the earth. Okay? So such layers are called as discontinuities. Discontinuities So there are many of them. There are almost 10 to 15 of them. But you should know the following. Okay. One is Moho's discontinuity. Okay. In fact, Moho को बाद में करते हैं. Moho को नीचे रखो. We have Conrad's discontinuity. Number 2 is Moho's discontinuity. Number 3 is Repetle or Birch discontinuity. Then we have Gutenberg's discontinuity, and we have Lehman's discontinuity. You've heard about these terms? These 5 is what you better remember. Condrad, Moho, Repetle or Birch. Okay, Gutenberg's and Lehman's. Lehman's discontinuity separates. Anybody knows? Separates what? It separates what? Separates what? Okay, outer core and inner core. Outer and the inner core. What does it mean? It means, okay, जैसे कि one palm and my next palm, I hold them together. Even if I hold them very, very, very tightly, there is still some layer, some layer here that separates my right palm from the left palm. Somewhere my palm right ends and the left one starts. So if I have, say I have a book here. Okay. So even if I hold my palm very, very tight and, okay, I fuse it, but you realize somewhere the skin ends and the paper starts. Somewhere, okay, the organic tissue ends and the inorganic or the non-living thing starts. ये जो layer है, ये जो line है, इसको बोलते हैं discontinuity. Is it okay, all of you? This is where, okay, we have one layer getting separated. Yes. So technically, it is not a separate layer. It's just that zone where two things get, okay, distinct. Yeah, something like a junction. Okay, that's a nice word. Something like an interface, a junction. So Lehman is between outer core and inner core. Gutenberg is between the mantle and the core. So this will be at a depth of 4800 kilometers. This will be at a depth of 2900 kilometers. Repetle or Birch, this is at around, okay, 700 to 900 kilometers. It separates the middle mantle from the deep mantle. The middle mantle from the deep mantle. Moho's, this separates the crust from the mantle. It separates the crust from the mantle. Is it okay? So iska kya depth hoga? Iska, yes, definitely it's not a real zone. No, it's not imaginary either. It's not imaginary. Like it exists, but it is not a layer as in layer. Like iska kya depth hoga? Moho ka kya depth hoga? Ah, come on, yeah. This is crust and mantle. It will vary. Iska depth will vary. Okay. The depth will vary according to continents or oceans. At the continents, the Moho is deeper. At the oceans, the Moho is more shallow. Diagram bhul rahe ho kya? This is the continent and this is the ocean. So this is the Moho's layer. Okay, this is the mantle. Okay, so continents and mantle. So this is at a deeper level. This can be as much as 60, 80 kilometers. Okay, and this is under the oceans. So यहाँ पर ज़्यादा mantle है, यहाँ पर कम mantle है. So will Moho have only one depth? Will Moho have only one depth? No. The depth of Moho will vary. It is deeper under the continents. It is shallow under the oceans. Okay, Moho कहाँ पर है? Moho is deeper under the continents and shallow under the oceans. All good till here? All fine? यहाँ तक सब ठीक है? All fine? Yes? Are you all writing what I am discussing? सब लिख पा रहे हो? Mohos. In fact, you will read, I mean, if you come across, ये जो repete है ना, this one, this is debated. This is something scientists are not very sure about. ये है भी कि नहीं है? Is debated. Some say कि ऐसा नहीं है. The transition is so smooth, you can't differentiate. The transition is so graded, you can't differentiate where one ends, another one starts. So some of them dispute the presence of Repetle-Birch, but this is universally accepted. This also is accepted, and Moho is also accepted. Okay, now come to Condrad. Now Condrad is a bit different one. Condrad is in the continents alone. ये Condrad जो है, this is inside the continents. Okay, alone. It is not found inside the oceans. It's in the continental crust alone. See, this thick is the continent, a very thick continent, and this is the ocean. Oceans are very thin, approximately 1.5 kilometers in some places. In some places, maybe about 3 kilometers. So by logical reasoning, this is thin. So inside this, there is not much of variation. Are you all listening to me? Are you all listening to me? Yes. So oceans are very thin, 1 kilometer thick, 1.5 kilometer thick in most places. In some places, they may be 3 kilometers thick. But for geological scales, this is very thin. Continents, on the other hand, are much more thicker. This can be 60 kilometers thick, and in some places, as much as 80 kilometers thick. So in 80 kilometers, 60 kilometers, do you all realize the type of rocks we have here are not same as type of rocks here, not same as type of rocks here? Is it okay? In the continents, the range of rock types is more. Okay, so what happens? So although I'm saying that the continents are felsic, continents are non-ferromagnesium silicates, the continents are granite, diorite, andesite, and rhyolite. All agreed? This is in general. The continents are felsic. The continents are non-ferromagnesium silicates. The continents are granitic. Continents are dioritic. Continents are andesitic. Continents are rhyolitic. But what happens is, in this thickness, the above layers are more felsic. The lower layers are less felsic. In fact, by the time you come towards the lower layers here, they are very similar to the oceans. Is it okay? Is it okay? It's something like, you know, this is Karnataka, this is Telangana. Okay, so here Kannada, 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 Kannada. By the time you come here, it's Kannada, Telugu, Kannada, Telugu. This is Telugu, Telugu. By the time you come here, it is Telugu, Kannada. इस border में you'll find that these people, their culture is different from these people, although they're part of Karnataka. The people who live here are different from these people here, although they're part of Telangana. Ab samajh mein aa raha hai? This is something like a transition zone. So the people here, they are more like this. The people who are here, they're more like this. Something of that kind. Okay. By the time you come towards the lower part here, the rocks are more like the mantle. They're more like the oceans. Okay. So in the continents, there are different type of rocks. Okay. So what happens is at some depth, there is some depth here. There is some depth here. In this depth, the upper rocks are relatively more felsic and the lower rocks are relatively more like mafic. ये जो layer है, this is called as the Condrad layer. This is approximately at around 30 kilometers depth. Okay. You all understand why Condrad is in the continents alone? Yes, yes. That's how the books write, Ayush. It separates the upper felsic from the lower mafic. But you understand, this mafic is not exactly oceans. In comparison, this is more mafic than this one. Ab theek hai? All good to go? All good to go? Okay, so come back here. What did I write? Condrad is found only in the continents. This is at a depth of about 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers. What does it do? It separates the upper relatively felsic from the lower relatively mafic rocks. Likho please. Okay, Condrad is at a depth of about 30 kilometers. It separates the upper relatively felsic rocks from the lower relatively mafic rocks. From the lower relatively mafic rocks. All fine? All fine? Don't say like that, Ranjan. ऐसे मत कहो. बस मोहम्मद आजिम इतना ही, इसके ज्यादा छेड़छाड़ नहीं करना है. ओके, बस इतना ही है. बाकी जो नहीं है मोहम्मद आजिम. एक्स्ट्रा ज्ञान नहीं चाहिए. जितना हजम कर सकते हैं उतना. There are 15 discontinuities. इतना ही जान लो काफी है. Condrad, Moho, Repetle-Birch, Gutenberg and Lehman. Moho ka depth varies. It is deeper under the continents, shallow under the oceans. Anybody, any doubts here? सबको समझ में आ रहा? रेपाइट नहीं है, रेपिटी. REPETTI, रेपिटी. हाँ, बहुत आएंगे याद करने वाले. बहुत सारा फैक्ट होगा जो याद करना पड़ेगा. Lots to remember. Non-Hindi guys, I hope I'm not speaking too much in Hindi. Okay, I can always speak something in Hindi which is not syllabus. But the syllabus, I hope you are managing with English, right? All of you? And I speak Hindi is a bad habit, that's all. Swati, yes, Condrad is only in the continents. Satya, yes. No, non-Hindi, please tell me, am I understandable or not? Am I understandable? Shailendra? Okay, सब हिंदी वाले ये सर बोल रहे हो. नॉन हिंदी पूछ रहा हूं. Please go slow. Mathanmi, the only way to improve speed is wait for me to go faster. Okay? To solve a problem, you must create a bigger problem. So as my pace increases, you'll find today's class very slow. Okay? So we create bigger problems to solve smaller problems. Can't understand. Okay, Satya, ignore it. It is not even worth understanding. Ignore. There is no humor. Okay, you ignore it. Why these guys are laughing, even I do not know sometimes. But they are laughing, so fine. Altu faltu baatein, chhod, forget about it. You focus only on the class notes. Condrad is absent. Who is Condrad in the class? Condrad is present, but in the continents. It's present in the continents. Condrad Sangma. He is comrade. Comrade. Okay. Can I move on? Can I move on? Yes, yes, Vaishali. They are something like transition zones, correct. There's something like transition zones. So guys, okay, the composition and the nature of Earth's interiors is done. You understand the composition and the nature of the, don't write this down, please. So I write anything down, you write it down. Okay. This is done. We'll move on towards a new discussion, evidences of Earth's interiors. Evidences of Earth's interiors. So some of you have a serious problem. How do we know so much? Okay. How do we know where is mantle, where is core? How do we know it's fluid? How do we know it's granitic? How do we know it is basaltic? That is what we're discussing here. Evidences of the Earth's interiors. Okay. Who went down? Okay, we'll find out who went down. Okay, spectrometer. A blind date with knowledge. Okay, evidences. So Earth's radius is approximately okay 6,400 kilometers. Earth's radius is approximately 6,400 kilometers. Guys, I'm on. Okay, don't miss out. Kilometers. Not possible to physically reach there. Much of what we know is partly from direct observations, but mostly from indirect, okay, extrapolations and inferences. Okay? Earth's radius is approximately 6,400 kilometers. Not possible to physically reach there. Of course, I am not counting Swami Nityanand. Swami Nityanand can go, he can travel between time, he can travel across universe, he can travel across time zones. Okay, so unko hum count nahi kar rahe hain. Okay, leave him. Most of us, jo mere mortals hain, we can't go there. Okay, so most of what we know is partly from direct observations, but mostly from indirect extrapolations and inferences. Okay, so direct observations and inferences. Inferences kya hai? We have studied volcanic rocks. We have studied rocks, okay, and matter in the mines in the mines and in oil drill. Okay, oil drills. We have studied meteorites from outer space. Okay, we have also studied rocks at deep trenches. Rocks at deep trenches. लिखा आपने, all of you? Did you all write down this? Okay, we have studied volcanic rocks. We have studied the rocks and matter in the mines, and in the oil drills. You know, drilling oil, we'll drill oils. Okay, we have studied meteorites. Meteorites कैसे हैं? So, because ultimately Earth is also one of the components of the universe. So if I know what meteorites are made up of, if I know what are the compositions of those cosmic rocks, I can infer. So meteorites, and I have studied rocks at the deep trenches. So basically what we are doing is, this is the actual physical study and inferring from it. The actual physical study हमने देखा, we have touched, we have seen. Okay, rocks at deep trenches. You know what are trenches? Do you know what are trenches? Trenches are very deep gaps. They are deep gaps on the crust. The gaps, these gaps can reach the mantle. They are very deep gaps. Okay, they are deep gaps. Okay, and at these gaps we can almost see the mantle. When I say see the mantle, it's not as it's not like you're visible to naked eye. You can use some instruments to see what it is. So at deep trenches, we have studied some of this. Okay, so yes, so one place of study is South Atlantic में है. In South Atlantic at South Sandwich Trench, the mantle is exposed. The mantle is exposed. South Sandwich Trench में, it is in South Atlantic Ocean. The mantle is exposed. It's like a deep cut, and somebody can see the bone almost. Okay, so some of these techniques have helped us to know something about the Earth. Okay, studying the volcanic rocks, studying the rocks in the mines and the oil drills, studying the meteorites, studying the rocks and the compositions at the deep trenches. लिखा आपने? Yes, South Sandwich Trench. South Sandwich Trench in South Atlantic. All written? All done? Okay, all done? Yes. So now we have certain other, okay, there are other indirect studies. इसमें mainly दो है. One is the density studies. Okay, and the next is the seismic wave studies. The density studies and the seismic wave studies. This is the actual physical study and inferring from it. The actual physical study and inferring from it. Physically, आप देख पा रहे हो, you can see, you can touch, you can feel. Okay, that's the actual physical study and inferring from it. these are not the actual what you can see, touch, and feel. Okay, you are indirectly seeing some kind of phenomena and then inferring from it. So we have got density studies and we have a seismic wave. Anybody knows the meaning of the word seismic? Basically earthquake. Seismic waves or earthquake waves. So density studies, not as important, you can ignore it. Let's come to the seismic wave. This is where your questions can be. The seismic wave studies. Okay, so take a fresh page. Seismic wave evidences of Earth's interiors. Okay, take a fresh page. The seismic wave evidences of the Earth's interiors. Already here, I'll take a couple of minutes to start this and then we'll continue tomorrow. And it's a very important topic. Isme questions bante hain. They have been asked, important for GS also and optional also. Seismic wave evidences of Earth's interiors. Okay, now see. Earthquakes are what? These are energies. This is energy release. This energy release is of two types. Okay, one are the radiations. Okay, these are electromagnetic. They're electromagnetic radiations. Something like radio waves, something like, okay, you have got infrared waves. We have say gamma rays, and so on. So they are like radio waves, infrared waves. These are called as radiations. The energy are radiations. Okay? So what happens is, ये जो radiations हैं, these radiations do not require medium, and therefore not important for studying, studying the interior's composition. I'll explain why. Abhi likh lo aap. Radiations hain, they do not require medium to travel. I hope you understand this point. Some of you from science background will understand this. They can pass in vacuum. They don't require solid. They don't require liquid. They don't require any type of gaseous medium. They can pass in nothingness. These are radiations. Radiations do not require medium. Radiations do not depend on the properties of the medium. Okay? Okay, they do not depend on the properties of the medium. So what did I write? Ab chupchap itna likh lo, please. Write down and explain. I said earthquakes are a type of energy release. What earthquakes are? A type of energy release. The energy released hai, what are the forms? One is the radiation forms, which are electromagnetic forms. These are radiation forms, like radio waves, infrared, gamma rays. They don't require mediums, and they're important for, and therefore they are not important for studying the interior's composition. Can I move on? Just write this down. Clear? All done? All done here? Okay. So the second type of radiation, so energy release are, these are the mechanical waves. These are a set of vibrations that need a medium to travel. They can travel through solids, they can travel through liquids, they can travel to gases. We'll talk about that, Kashish. Just give me 2 more minutes. They require a medium to travel. These are mechanical waves. These are electromagnetic radiations, mechanical waves. So what happens is the properties of such waves depends on the nature and the property of the medium. This is an important point. The electromagnetic radiations, their property does not depend on the medium. But in this case, the waves, their property, that depends on the medium. So when I say property of the waves, what do I mean by this? The proper waves bataya hai, what do I mean by this? This basically means their velocity of travel. It means their path of travel. At what speed they move. Okay. Yes, their frequency, their vibration wavelength. Absolutely. The property of waves bol rahe hain. What are the property of waves? Yes, Mriti Kona, correct. Okay, so these properties depends on the property of the medium. What do I mean by this? It means density of the medium. It means the rigidity of the medium. How dense the medium is. It is liquid medium, it is solid medium. It depends on whether it is dense, it is hard, it is light. Okay, so these two things are related. These two things are related. Okay, the density of the medium and density depends on, these both depends on what? The composition of the medium. Isn't it? Is it made up of wood? Is it made up of granite? Is it made up of some gas? Is it made up of some liquid? Okay, so these two things are related. The property of the waves are related to the properties of the medium. These are related. All good till here? All fine till here? Yahan tak theek hai? All fine? All fine? Okay. So what this basically means is, if I know the medium, I can guess the property, and they are very much related. Or if I know the property, can I guess the medium? Can I guess the medium? Yes. So it's like this. Think of, okay, this is, okay, this person is probably Ahmad Raza. Ahmad Raza's emotions depends on who is he talking to. Is he talking to Sonal? Is he talking to Bhavana? Is he talking to Asha? Okay. Is he talking to Meenal? Okay. Is he talking to Meenal? Okay. So, okay. And for each of this, if you talk to Sonal, he is very happy. He's talking to Bhavna, he is excited. He's talking to Asha. Okay. He is very anxious. He's talking to Meenal. He is in a celebration mode. Okay. And they are related. Okay. Now this Bhavna is with W. Okay. This is not V wala Bhavna. This is W wala Bhavna. Okay. Our favorite name is Sonal. Okay. Sonal is, okay. Why is talking to girls? Okay. Why is he talking to girls? This is the choice of Raza. Who are you to question Raza here? उनकी choice है. वो किससे से भी बात करें. मैंने 4 उठा लिया. Maybe there are more here. I have only 4 का list मेरे पास है. ठीक है? So they are related in terms of emotions. So is it possible to know, okay, what his emotion will be if I know the person? ठीक है? Why this example? Sonu says, why this example? How is it related? Okay, so Sonu is upset कि यहां पर अहमद रजा का नाम क्यों लिया गया है. Let's take the name of Sonu. Then he will be fine. He'll understand this. Have the others understood the example? Okay. So if I know how Sonu behaves, I will know who he was talking to. This is the fundamental conclusion. Anxious with Asha. Okay, you must ask him, how will I know? I am a regular person. Okay, you must ask Asha why she makes him anxious. Okay? Okay? But if it is Sonu, for Sonu, there is his emotions. His emotions does not depend on who he is talking to. Which means if so Sonu is electromagnetic radiation and Ahmad Raza is mechanical waves. ठीक है? Read the lines above Sonal. बेटा बहुत लोगों को तो सोनल के ऊपर क्या लिखा है कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा. Okay, they can only see what is below Sonal. And you want me to tell us what is above Sonal? बेटा above Sonal कुछ है ही नहीं. Ask Ahmad Raza. Nothing is beyond Sonal. Sonal is the uppermost limit. उसके ऊपर वैक्यूम है. ये भी नोट्स में लिख डाला. सोनू से अब समझ में आ गया. अहमद रजा. ठीक है, अब समझ में आ गया all of you. How do we know the composition of Earth? So we cannot know the composition of Earth by knowing radiations. We can know composition by studying mechanical waves alone. Okay, by studying mechanical waves alone. Okay, so if I tell you, okay, Ahmad Raza is very happy, can you not guess he was talking to Sonal? Ahmad Raza is celebrating. Can you not know he was talking to Meenal? वैसे ही. So if a wave is passing and we know how the wave behaves, I can guess the medium. If a wave is passing and I know the wave has slowed down, I know the medium. They are related, one-to-one relationship. General Saab, General Ji, you understand now? Dorji? General, is it okay now? If you know the behavior of the waves, you can guess, you can anticipate what the medium can be. Yes? अच्छा, अब book marking का time नहीं है. We'll do it tomorrow, no problem. I'll continue this tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll find out ultimately, okay, whether it is Ahmad Raza or it is Sonu. Tomorrow we will discuss. ठीक है? Today make your notes, summarize. Who is Sonal? So some of you have a very clear agenda. Sir, syllabus छोड़ो, इनका phone number और address दे दो sir. Okay, so they have a clear agenda. UPSC से क्या रखा है? Okay. चलो कोई बात नहीं. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow. Bye-bye, all of you. Zonal is low velocity zone. Okay. Chalo, bye-bye, all of you. Catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Please summarize the class notes, okay? Bye. Bye.